Bennett is to Israel what Joe Biden is to the United States of America. He is literally trying to destroy his own country. And over the last few weeks, there are 4 things that he has done that we should probably pay special attention to, because he is putting the destruction of Israel on an accelerating path that is actually unheard of. Bennett has done some crazy things, guys. First of all, let's talk about the first concession that he's made that has, in my opinion, put Israel in tremendous danger. The first one is he has chosen to abandon what I would consider to be a very important tenet of the Zionist movement. Now, of course, this is interesting because what the Zionist movement has always believed in is the redemption of land purchases for Jewish settlement. This was going on especially in Judea and Samaria after 1967, and this has always been a very solid move in order to preserve the nation's standing by bringing in more Jewish settlers. And now what Bennett is doing is he is giving those very tenets that have always existed to improve life for Jews all over Israel. He's wanting to give them to the Palestinians. And by the way, we're not just talking about hardworking Palestinians that want to work with Israelis. We're not talking about Palestinians that want to be productive citizens of Israel. We're talking about the type of Palestinians that want to eliminate the Jewish state. Now, I think that that's completely ridiculous. Another thing that he is doing, which is very destructive, also relates to land. Specifically, if any of you have heard about it, Area C. Now, if you've not researched and you don't know what Area C is, you should look into it. There's a lot of history there. It relates, again, to 60% of Judea and Samaria, and it includes some very significant Israeli communities. Once again, what they are wanting to do is they are wanting to go into the Jordan Valley, critical infrastructure that relates to Israel's national security, and they want to get rid of some of those installations, and even worse than that, begin to concede them over to the enemies of Israel, which could put them in significant danger. Bennett's doing this stuff, you guys. This is getting crazy and it's completely out of control. Economics is the third thing that he is doing that is literally destroying Israel. Now, in 2018, you may or may not know this, but there was a law that was passed that kept money from going to the Palestinian Authority, especially when the Palestinian Authority was going to use that money to kill Israeli citizens or to commit acts of terror all over the place. And now that rule is being sort of backpedaled. It's being kind of ignored, not kind of, substantially ignored, because Gantz is making arrangements to give millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of shekels to the Palestinian Authority to help them seek to accomplish their purpose, which, by the way, is the elimination of the Jewish state. This stuff is researchable, folks. He's funding these things in the name of a loan. It's not a sort of giving you this. He's not aiding them. He's saying it's a loan. But in reality, if it's a loan, what he's doing is making money off the death of the future. And Bennett is in full agreement with this. The last thing, and perhaps the most significant, is Bennett's so-called investment in what we are calling, what everybody is calling, the climate change movement. Now, we all know what that is. That's basically Bennett wanting to join up with all the hard left globalists and make a name for himself, not for Israel, because what he does every time he gives them a concession, and he is conceded to them on many levels, he is destroying the economy completely of Israel. He is going to subject Israel to many of the globalist rules that are being created in the name of climate change, and he is going to destroy the competitive edge that Israel has developed. Folks, let me just tell you something. Satan has always tried to destroy Israel. Satan has always gone out of their way to destroy not only the Jewish people, but the Israeli state. And I'm just going to give you this message, and I hope Bennett can hear me very, very clearly. He's not going to be successful in doing it. He's trying to do it right now through people like Bennett and Gantz and some of these other people, but God will never allow it to happen. He will never allow it to happen. Make no mistake about it. It might be opening up the door for Ezekiel 38. He might be able to do all of these types of things that he thinks he's going to be a famous guy for doing. He's going to go down as one of the worst leaders Israel had. And I'm going to also tell you this, that no matter what happens, God will protect the interests of Israel because he's going to be dealing with Israel shortly. Make no mistake about it. The nonsense that we are seeing right now is part of a very open, wide, satanic ploy to destroy the nation, and it'll never work. Make no mistake about it. It'll never work. To God be the glory. Great things he has already done and greater things he's going to do. And Israel is a part of the plan. And that is undeniable, folks. Look up because Jesus is coming soon. God bless you.